Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade, and today's show, well, it's gonna be a little bit different because co-writer is here today.
That's right, I'm back.
He's actually in the studio, with me. And you can see, he's super annoying already. Anyway, let's get the show started. Today on the show, we've got Spider-Man and the Death of Jordan Retros. Wait. I mean, this is a show about sneakers. Kinda. Of course, we've also got our pick of the week. So let's start with some rapid fire, quick hot takes. So the big sneaker rumor is that the Nike KD4 Nerf is getting ready to come back in 2024. Man, the energy for these in 2011 was off the charts. People were lining up at Beverly Center. I saw someone turn down 3 stacks for them at a proto sneaker con. It was a different time. It was sneaker culture as the old heads knew it, right before things were about to change. But also, this was when people still liked Kevin Durant.
People like Kevin Durant?
Yes, people still liked Kevin Durant. Look, I never realized until right now how intertwined the timelines of Kevin Durant and sneaker culture were. Like, as sneaker culture was blowing up, KD was rising in popularity too. When social media changed the way people consume sneakers, KD was being consumed by social media. And now that we're in a place where sneakers are no longer cool, KD, well, let's hope the KD4 Nerf can change some hearts and minds next year for everyone involved.
Bring back the undefeated KD4s.
That actually would be dope. James Harden debuted the Yeezy Harden Volume 8 for the Clippers, which some are saying is similar to the Yeezy AE1.
Yeezys?
Can't wait until the internet convinces everybody that Adidas is just a different way to spell Yeezy, and that they're actually called Yeezy Superstars and Yeezy Sambas.
I didn't write that. What are you doing?
I'm just giving the truth. Speaking of which, Jerry Lorenzo just teased Prada and Adidas. Yeah, I couldn't keep that joke for more than one segment.
Thank you.
Prada, Adidas, Fear of God is coming in 2025. Anybody ready for that?
No.
Hey, I hope it looks good, but we are definitely in GM who drafted a quarterback with tons of potential, but needs a few years to develop so they won't get fired territory. As long as you keep teasing the future, you don't have to deliver in the present. Like, Dr. Dre's Detox is still gonna happen. Like, right?
Right?
Okay, before we get to this week's best sneaker release, let's do a review of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5. Unlike the sneaker tie-in that co-writer gave on the show a few weeks ago,
those shoes were not good.
the response to the video game was a little more positive.
Yeah, no, that game is fire.
Like, this is a contender for Game of the Year positive, I think. And despite the large production values and Sony hype machine backing it, there was no guarantee that Spider-Man 2 was going to reach the heights of the original game on PS4 and the Miles Morales standalone expansion. With the game needing to be set in New York City once again, since, that's where Peter Parker and Miles Morales' base of operations is, the fear was that Spider-Man 2 was going to feel less like a new experience and more of a new iteration, not unlike what we go through every year with sports games like NBA 2K. The foundation is solid and established, but how much more can you add to it? Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales already gave us a taste of what this world can look like on a PS5, and it's pretty good, provided you stick with performance mode, because fidelity mode can be iffy with the frame rate. Spider-Man 2, gorgeous and buttery smooth in performance mode. What we did not expect was developer Insomniac Games creating a 4-point shot to the game and giving the Spider-Mans the ability to glide in the game.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's an ability that Spidey has in the comics, but it's rarely a point of emphasis. If you're the type who likes Spider-Man but doesn't care for the swinging, well, first of all, I'd like to meet you and ask you what your deal is. And second, flying Spider-Man's work a little too well. There's a small learning curve, but once you got it down, you can swing and glide from Harlem to Brooklyn without touching the ground. Like, how the hell did a Spider-Man video game figure out flying before Superman?
Because Superman sucks.
Superman does not suck, don't say that. And it made sense to add this new mechanic because the addition of approximations of Queens and Brooklyn means less tall buildings for Spidey to swing around. Sure, they could have just had them swing and attaching their webs onto imaginary walls and ceilings like in earlier generations, but that would have been too easy. And it also makes going back to the previous games feel dated. Like, if I fired up Spider-Man Remastered now, it's gonna feel weird that I can't jump from the top of the Avengers Tower and glide all the way to Chinatown. Yeah, I did not expect that to be something I would do several times just for funsies in a Spider-Man game. So, after introducing these new versions of Peter Parker and Miles Morales in separate games, Spider-Man 2 juggles the growing pains of both main characters about as well as you can hope for. That means being each other's support system through text messages, getting on each other's nerves, and swinging around Manhattan and taking on random bad guys when all of a sudden the other Spider-Man shows up to help in the game.
Like me and you, Jacques, we help each other, right?
Is that what this is?
We're Spider-Man.
We're Spider-Man. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Miles.
We're something. Look, not gonna lie. I popped the first time that happened because, again, it would just make sense in a world of superheroes for other characters to pop up and lend a helping hand from time to time. Even though Miles has the ability to go invisible temporarily and use Venom abilities to juice up his attacks, Peter's moveset did not feel that much different until later in the game when, well, it shouldn't be a spoiler because it's in the box art, but the vibes change for Pete. Speaking of vibes, because of the AAA nature of Spider-Man 2, there is an unspoken mandate to pack in as much value and gameplay time for gamers who want to feel like their $70 purchase is warranted. Side note, I know the value proposition is different and comparing the two is nonsensical, but if the most expensive sneaker that culture had to deal was $70 and supply was never a problem, we'd be in a better place. Back to the Spideys. Now that you have Peter and Miles to bounce off of each other, that means you also have to deal with their problems when they don't wear their masks. And maybe it's me growing intolerant of fluff and padding runtimes, but I cringe ever so slightly every time I have to do normal people stuff. In the comics, a lot of the appeal of Spider-Man, both of them and countless others in the Spider-Verse, is that they are among the most grounded and human of heroes. Yes, I want to learn more about Miles learning to trust his Uncle Aaron again, or Peter trying to find the proper work-life hero balance. I like reading about that and watching a cutscene about it, but I don't know that I want to spend half an hour walking around a Coney Island adjacent carnival to get that flavor anymore. And those stealth sequences with Mary Jane? About as fun as those time-wasting puzzles that I'm supposed to believe is saving the environment. Thankfully, there's accessibility options that let you skip the puzzles if you so desire. I wish you could do the same with every moment you're not doing spider stuff. As repetitive as some of the side fights can be, I'd rather do dozens of them until I can pull off 100-hit combos with regularity than walking around a research facility that looks like a remodeled shopping mall looking for icons to hit so I can finally talk to Harry Osborn again.
Sounds boring, though.
It is quite. So, when the PlayStation 5 first launched 3 years ago, which is wild because it doesn't feel like this generation is that long in the tooth already, Spider-Man Miles Morales was a great title to kick off the console. It was a condensed adventure that did away with most of the fat in Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man 2 does not have that luxury because of the larger scope, expanded map, and pressures to deliver big sales numbers for Sony. I'm definitely in the minority here, but if my $70 went to a shorter and more focused experience, I would not be thinking, hey, you know what this game needs? Puzzles and stealth missions, as I beat the crap out of some arsonists in front of Bait. And yeah, shout out to the Bait crew for popping up in the game. Definitely pulled the DiCaprio pointing meme when that happened. With a packed 2023 video game calendar that is being called one of the greatest years of all time, Spider-Man 2 is a contender for being the cream of the crop. All right. Let's talk sneakers. For the pick of the week, it's the Puma MB-03 Chino Hills. This is on the 17th for $125. 909. Shout out to the 909, even though no one knows where that is.
How dare you?
No, this is not an homage to the iconic neon Nike Air Max 95, so get that out of your head.
Sure about that?
Get that out of your head.
Like that.
This one takes us all the way back to 2017 when Melo... Wait, that was just 6 years ago? Man, that kid has been everywhere since then, and it feels like it's been way longer than just 6 years ago. My gosh. Now he's in the league and 3 signature shoes in, not counting those big baller brands, the BBBs. Anyway, back in the good old days of February 2017, I was in New Orleans for NBA All-Star Weekend. The real co-writer was still working for Kicks on Fire and doing God only knows what on Bourbon Street. And
why are you bringing up old stuff?
we're just bringing up the facts because Bourbon Street was a mess. Anyway, LaMelo Ball was dropping 92 points. Some of you might remember the backlash from that performance because Ball got most of his points by cherry picking. And yet, here we are now, celebrating it as a sneaker footnote in Ball's career. Funny how things work out. I mean, it's not like we're celebrating Jello's 72 points in high school because
I'm celebrating.
That would be different. No, it's just you, literally. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass. We'll take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like Jordan retros, maybe. Last week was the launch of the Air Jordan 1 Royal Reimagined, one of the most talked about sneaker releases of the year. It was next in line for what has been a long-standing tactic of Nike to bring back retros on slightly different terms. You want the Chicago 1s or the black cement 3s or the infrared 6s? Sure, Nike will bring them back, but they'll take out the Nike Air logo and replace them with the Jumpman. Exactly. Have you ever wondered what an Air Jordan 12 would look like with Air Force 1 tooling? No? That's too bad. Nike's giving them to you anyway, and they're gonna call them Fusions. Don't like those? Don't like the quality of recent Jordan retros? Maybe they'll invite some influencers out to New York and show them this newfangled concept called remastered retros. Hey, I think I was actually on that trip. Co-writer you weren't there, were you? That's okay. Sorry. Anyways, remastered retros will come with a price bump, but it'll all be worth it because you get Nike Air again. At least that's what you tell yourself. Today, we've got the standard GR Air Jordan 1 highs that's called the Retro High OG. For nearly a decade, that was Nike saying this as close to the original as we can possibly get, until they released the Air Jordan 1 High 85, which is even closer to the 1985 original. Oh, but you said you wanted the Bread Air Jordan 1 High 85? Yeah, they're not doing that yet. Come on. But check out this inverse varsity red that you can buy in the meantime while you wait for the Bread 85 and this new thing they're calling reimagined retros, where they're giving the people what they want, but only kind of, sort of. It started with 2021's holiday release of the patent leather Air Jordan 1 Bread. While it's technically not a reimagined release, people have lumped them into the reimagined category. Think of it as a prequel or an issue number 0. Anyways, patent leather is going to be divisive no matter the color of J's, but not enough to discourage people from buying them. They sold out on Sneakers app fast. This was followed up by Holiday 2022's Lost and Found Air Jordan 1 that featured a pre-distressed Chicago 1 with packaging that gives off the appearance that it was found in a long-forgotten storage closet of a mom-and-pop sneaker shop in the 1980s. The pre-yellowed nature of the shoes themselves was a turn-off for some, but the hype and the storytelling overcame those nitpicks. Nowadays, they typically resell for double the retail price. And then earlier this year, the reimagined Air Jordan 3 White Cement came with a yellowed midsole, back tab, and aged packaging. On the hierarchy of Jordan Retro 3s are in the upper echelon. At the same time, we've seen the White Cement 3s come back 3 times since 2011. 2011, 2013, and 2018 retros of the White Cement 3s resell for no less than $400. And if you want to get super granular, the Air Jordan 3 Tinker in White Cement also dropped in 2018. So that's 4 White Cement and White Cement adjacent retros from 2011 to 2018. And then we got the reimagined White Cements in 2023. They came, they sold out, but not so fast that you couldn't get a pair if you missed the sneakers drop.
I missed it.
And well, I mean, that says something else. And now you can have a pair for slightly above retail. A little surprising, but hey, that just means if you want them, you can get them without too much hassle, right? In a different time, the Royal 1 Reimagined we talked about as a contender for Sneaker of the Year. Hell, as recently as last year, probably judging from the hype of the Lost and Found Chicago 1s. If these were called Lost and Found Royal 1s with leather uppers, yellowed midsoles, and beat down packaging, I bet the conversation is different. Every media outlet would be covering this release with how-to-buy guides, and reseller platforms would be hyping up the pairs they already have in stock that are conveniently shipping out of Memphis. Jordan Brand would be seeding pairs and pushing that FOMO feeling. Yes, the use of suede and nubuck turned off some people, but it's no different than people being turned off by patent leather. At the end of the day, Royal 1s are still Royal 1s, right? Well, it turns out not all Royal 1s are the same. As of this recording, you can still go on the Sneakers app and get a pair of the Air Jordan 1 Royal Reimagined in any size.
Not missing out this time.
Go to a Nike store or a sneaker boutique and you'll find them. They might be on display in a glass case to make you believe they're going fast, but they're not. Nike outlet stores have random sizes in stock because they're being returned. That, in a vacuum, is not unusual. Outlet stores are the place to return new releases on the Sneakers app. But to see this many makes you think they're not being returned because people are unsatisfied. It's because that people couldn't flip them. I might be wrong, but among the upper tier of OG Jordan retro colorways, this might be the biggest flop since the explosion of sneaker culture into the mainstream. That is, if you want to call being able to easily buy a pair of OG Jordan 1s in stores without having to deal with lines, bots, and jackasses a flop, well, I don't. See, the thing is, we're not doing a hard pass on Jordan 1s or Jordan retros. Nah, This is the hard pass to an era of sneaker culture that we can't wait to be done with. We've been seeing the signs for a few years now. The days when Jordan Brand could just drop any colorway of a retro and expect it to sell out are long gone. In the 2010s, they could release 11s and 12s in something called Gamma Blue, and people would be fighting for it. Last week, the real co-writer walked into a Foot Locker and picked up a retro of the Air Jordan 12 Cherry, an OG colorway that last came back in 2009. 5 versions of the white cement 3s have come and gone before we got Cherry 12 retros, and it was an easy pickup. That was inconceivable as recently as last year. Hell, it was inconceivable as recently as a few days before the release date. And yes, I know what inconceivable means. I would say that it was implausible that the Air Jordan 12 Field Purple wouldn't sell out because it was a retro of Gary Payton player exclusive from his 1 year with the Los Angeles Lakers. But I could also picture it not selling out, which is what happened because the sneaker world is different now. I never once thought that the Air Jordan 12 Cherry would not sell out immediately. It was inconceivable. So yeah, implausible, inconceivable. Anyway, where was I?
Where were you?
Right, Jordan retros. Leave me alone. Look, I'm not foolish enough to think that this is always going to be this easy. If Jordan Brand had released Royal Ones in their original leather form, you wouldn't be seeing anybody return them at Nike outlets. The combination of material used not being desired by the community, a growing fatigue towards ones, the $180 price tag, and real world factors all contributed to these being called bricks by hypebeasts. To which I would say, good. Call them bricks, haters. Makes it easier for those of us who want them. So you're telling me I can grab these right now and I don't have to deal with dorks and bootleg Chrome Hearts hoodies buying them all up at resale for a SneakerCon event?
It's not bootleg.
Cool. Anybody can dislike them because they think suede and nubuck is dumb. But to dislike them because they're sitting in stores, are not popping off at resale, not to sound like The Bachelor, but you're not in it for the right reasons. The next test for this brave new world is the reimagined Air Jordan 11 DMP dropping in December. This Concord adjacent colorway is a different take on the pair that was part of the Defining Moments pack from 2006. The gold hits will remain the same, but the ballistic mesh will be subbed out for leather. Personally, I still have my Concords from 2018, so I'm good. Are there enough people like me who are still satisfied from that release that they'll pass on this one? Or are there more people like Co-Writer who missed out on the 2006 pack or sold them a few years ago because resale was stupid and now want their lick back? My guess is that there will be hype for these and that these won't be a repeat of the reimagined Royal Ones, but I don't think this will be as in demand as the 2018 Concord Retro or even wilder, the 2011 Concord Retro when we had people licking them for the morning news. So what does this mean for Jordan Brand and sneaker culture as a whole?
What does it mean, Jock?
Well, give me a second. That's why I asked the question. Well, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news for those who have only ever known this boom period, but all this means is that Jordan Brand and sneaker culture is going to evolve into its next phase. It's not dead. Sneaker culture was around before the 2010s and before social media, and it will keep on trucking along enjoying the highs and lows. Meanwhile, Jordan Brand will regroup, refocus, and rebuild, and probably call their next gimmick for the retros the Rebuild Series.
Did you just give them an idea?
I did. At the same time, if they could make actual new silhouettes that we want for both on and off the court, that would be great. And by the way, all this hand-wringing over retros being dead means that I shouldn't have a problem getting the Fear 3s next week, right? I want you guys to keep that same energy, man. Retros are over. They're done. I'm gonna hold you all to that. Wrap it up. Let's go home. It's over. Finn, better be.
Jock,
Yes.
I just want you to know, man, I'm in this for the right reasons.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. Yes, sure you are. All right. Look, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hardbass. Thank you for Co-Writer for coming into the building today. Let's give him all a round of applause because he needs the attention. If anybody does anything for clout, it's Co-Writer. All right. I'm Jacques Slade. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message or social media if you want. No more than 30 seconds. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Right reasons.
See? It's all about the clout for this guy.